today we're going to be talking about a good conversation or a safe environment and what that really means. So, generally, we have a perception of these things. This is our account on most likely the best experience in this category of safe environment and good conversation that we've ever had. So, we're going to put those things together and we're going to say this is what a good conversation is like, this is what a safe environment is like. However, this is only to the ability or the degree that we have experienced it. And as soon as we run into another situation where we have a greater version of that exact same thing, then all of a sudden our perception has changed. And now this is the new standard. So if that is possible, then we can know that our first perception was, let's say, not complete. And then how do we know our second perception is complete or not? And this is generally the kind of cycle that we go through. We could only know our own perception of a certain thing, and therefore when we have more information, more experience, this perception should most likely change and grow to our certain ability. At that point, we should have the thought that, hey, do I really know what a good this or that is? And if so, why didn't I start off in the place already having that experience? And if we have that kind of questioning, we can see that easily we can have misperceptions of many things, and that the only way to kind of really know something is to kind of see what the end outcome of this thing is. Right? Then we have an idea of kind of the pieces that came together and how that has impacted the end outcome. So to look at this a little bit more formally, or not formally, I said informally, we can say that after having a good conversation, how does one feel? They feel most likely relaxed, calm, collected, maybe inquisitive, maybe energized, maybe willing to take on new things, new challenges, inspired. They might feel very warm inside, very affectionate, very caring. All these kind of things are the end result of one good conversation or a safe environment. Ultimately, if we do not have this experience, then we are misusing the word safe environment and good conversation. So we want to know then, if this can happen in this small area, is it possible to happen in other areas? And the answer to that, I think, is yes, it can. So then, in situations where we're taking, let's say, a 50% good conversation as a 100% good conversation, then we're going to be in this kind of confusion with what's what. And I make this point only to kind of bring to mind that we do have to keep having new experiences so that we can build on our previous understanding of what good conversation is or what bad conversation is. This is very easily seen in, let's say, an old relationship. When you're in that relationship, and let's say this relationship didn't go that great, it seems pretty terrible. It seems that everything was always hard on us or unfair or these kind of things. But we leave that relationship, we have some time in between, hopefully, and we go into a new relationship, and we start to see now more clearly what was really happening. Was it myself that was not being very expressive of how I felt? Therefore, this person didn't know how to interact with me properly. Or was that person truly caring and compassionate, but for some reason I was under too much stress to see that there was that great conversation and communication? And now, knowing these things in this reflection, how will I change in a positive way to be able to make sure that this new relationship doesn't go through those old patterns? This is where that reflection and looking at the difference between good conversation, good relationship, bad relationship really comes into play. Now, moving on from that, we want to also see the fact that there is many things that we can improve on in this regard. So being very open-minded to new experiences can allow us to, let's say, see things more clearly and to kind of get out of our own way. The truth of the matter is The reality of the good conversation or safe environment always exists. However, we are the ones that can block it out. Therefore, if we have a negative environment and a negative experience, we tend to take that experience and put it in all other experiences. And it may not be there, it may just be within us. So when we're able to see that, we can start to make sense of this possibly good or safe environment. We can look at it and start taking away the negative feelings that we have inside and make sure we don't put them in this environment. In that way, we can then be more realistic to what's happening and know that what's happening now is not the past, and actually there is this warm, caring aspect that we're currently blocking out. So therefore, we don't see it in the conversation. But if we would relax that way of thinking and focus more on the openness of the conversation, we'll see that all of a sudden this thing pops up and is now there, and that we were the ones limiting this interaction. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. I wanted to kind of highlight the idea that our perception is not particularly the reality, and we can take past experiences and put them on new realities, and the fact that there always is the reality of the positive thing happening, but we can be kind of polarized to only seeing or focusing more on the negative that's happening versus the positive.